They're not merely still mourning the dead in Haiti, they have barely begun to look for the dead. But that fact, the sensitivity and grace that it demands, are of course powerless in the path of those savage idiots who would seize on Haiti when it needs open hands instead, to exploit its calamity, to use its tragedy to benefit themselves or to push their own religious or political causes. It is our great shame. The Christian leader, Pat Robertson, of course, is at least obviously in thrall to the relentless logic of his belief in an interventionist God who punished New Orleans with Katrina and punished America with 9/11. Of course, now God, he thinks, is punishing Haiti, killing the Roman Catholic Archbishop there in the process.
And they got together and swore a pact to the devil. They said, we will serve you if you'll get us free from the French. It's a true story. And so the devil said, okay, it's a deal. But ever since, they have been cursed by one thing after the other, desperately poor. They need to have, and we need to pray for them, a great turning to God.
Then at the bottom, always at the bottom, Rush Limbaugh using Haiti to attack President Obama, predicting, based on what exactly we don't know, that he would try to use Haiti to help himself with, quote, the light-skinned and dark-skinned black community in this country.
I want you to remember it took him 3 days to respond to the Christmas Day Fruit of Kaboom bomber. 3 days. And when he came out after those 3 days, he was clearly irritated that he had to do it. He didn't want to do it. He comes out here in less than 24 hours to speak about Haiti.
With us tonight, MSNBC political analyst Eugene Robinson, the associate editor and Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of The Washington Post. Gene, good evening.
Evening, Keith.
Let me talk about Pat Robertson first. When somebody says they know why things, in this case, that earthquake, happened to people, it's one thing to have faith or try to understand why things happen based within your faith. Why is it different when you start telling people why disasters have occurred?
Well, because you're blaming the victims. You're blaming the innocent victims of a tragedy in which they played no part. But look, Keith, these are the ravings of a demented old man. And that woman sitting next to him in that interview should have taken him by the hand and led him away from the microphone and kept him away. It is really appalling.
The mixed message in this, the charity arms of Robertson's organization, to their great credit, are now helping Haiti. Does that mean that Pat Robertson is opposing God's plan as he understands it?
If there were any logic left there, that would be the logic. But I think he's beyond logic at this point, and so no, it doesn't make sense if you take those two things together. But he's not making sense.
As to Mr. Limbaugh, it's a fair thing, it's a valid thing to examine and to criticize a president's response to any crisis under any circumstances. But why would you, under any circumstances, as entertainer or comedian or pundit, why would you choose to do that while men, women, and children totally unconnected to that president are still dying and not even being rescues not even being affected yet?
Let me suggest possibly 3 isms. Opportunism, because being edgy and transgressive is the way he makes his big fat salary. Racism, for obvious reasons, and narcissism, also for obvious reasons. Or else, true story, he made a pact with the devil.
Yeah, well, we'll pass on that. The racism aspect strikes me so strongly about that, to suggest that the President of the United States would then come out and try to use this in some domestic political sense, and was in somehow favoring, I'm not sure of the logic, he favored the Haitian, perhaps 500,000 dead in Haiti over the one bomber injured in Detroit in some way. I'm not following it.
It makes no sense, and you know, aren't we all appalled that our president would mount a rescue effort to try to save thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people who are either dying right now or who will die in the next few days if they don't get help? Shame on the president for trying to alleviate that suffering and prevent those deaths. It's just a ridiculous thing to say, and I hope even his audience of ditto heads realize that.
Yeah, you are dittoing naked mad insanity and racism. Eugene Robinson, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of the Washington Post, also of MSNBC. It's always a relief to talk to you under these circumstances, Gene.
It is good to talk to you, Keith, except under bad circumstances.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.